Hi friends, today we're starting a whole new chapter and it's all about time and telling time. Okay, so this is something you've worked on in the past. We're going to continue working with it and really strengthen that skill. So you're going to open up to page 593 to follow along with the lesson. Okay, so today's lesson is all about telling time to the hours. So we're going to learn about the face of the clock and the different, how you read on an even hour. So on a clock, you have the numbers 1 through 12. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to fill in the numbers that are missing on our clock. So 12 is at the top, right, so the very tip, and then it starts with 1. And it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So on the face of the clock it goes 1 to 12, but 12 is at the top. Okay? So when you're telling time, there are 24 hours in a day. So the clock, it goes around twice. So there's 1 o'clock in the morning and 1 o'clock in the afternoon. There's 2 o'clock in the morning and 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So each one happens twice a day, in the morning or the afternoon. So when you're writing numbers to the hour, there's two different kinds of hands in a clock. There's the longer hand, which is the minute hand, and there's a smaller hand, which is the hour hand. For the hour, when it's an on an even hour, the hour hand, the smaller hand, points to whatever hour it is, whatever number hour it is. So they want us to do 4 o'clock. So since it's 4 o'clock exactly, our little hand, our hour hand, is going to point towards the 4. Okay? So you make a nice, neat, small hand to the 4s, pointing directly at the 4. And when a new even hour starts, the minute hand points to the 12. Because what's going to happen is the minute hand and the hour hand travel around what's called clockwise, so I'm sure if you hear things, which is this way, to measure the time in every hour. Okay? So this is 4 o'clock. Okay? Now, the hour hand also actually moves. It just moves a lot slower because it just moves in between the numbers every hour. So the minute hand goes all the way around in an hour because there's 60 minutes. And the hour hand goes slowly one at a time. Okay? So these little tick marks are also minutes, which we'll talk about throughout the chapter, so don't worry about that. So today we're just worrying about when it's an even hour. So the minute hand is on the 12 and the hour hand is on whatever number hour it is. So let's be more specific. So lots of vocabulary in this section, in this chapter. On an analog clock, that's a clock that looks like this, that has the face, that has the circle, the numbers. The hour hand points to the hour. Makes sense, right? So it is shorter. The minute hand points to the minute. It is longer. So you can see the hour hand is the shorter one. The minute hand is longer. Okay? And this is showing 3 o'clock. So see, it's a fresh hour. So the minute hand is at the top and it's pointing to the 3. So I know it's 3 o'clock. A digital clock shows the hour and minutes on a screen. So a digital reading like this, you have the hour on the left side, 2 little dots, a little colon there, and then the minutes after. Okay, so that's also the kind of like what the time looks like when you see it maybe on your devices, on your grown-up's phone, excuse me, those kind of things. So it's going to look like this. So the analog clock is the one that's a little trickier just because you might not necessarily see it as often nowadays. But it is still really important to learn how to read. So both of these are showing 3 o'clock. They're showing the same time. So you see the hour hand points to the 3 on the side, and the hour spot there's a 3. The minute hands are pointing to the 12, and since it's the beginning of the hour, you say 0, fresh, no minutes, because it hasn't started in the hour yet. Okay, so using the clock to tell what time is shown, and we're going to write the time in the digital clock and underneath. Okay, so looking at our first one, we can see already that the minute hand is fresh on the 12, and the hour hand is pointing to the 9. So it's a 9 o'clock. So you're going to write a 9 on the hour side and 2 zeros on the minute side. Okay, because when it starts fresh in an hour, you have 0 minutes. So when that minute hand's point to the 12, 0 minutes. So that is 9 o'clock. Alright, so the next one, I see that my hour hand is pointed to the 11. The minute hand is pointed to the 12. So it is a fresh hour, so it's 11 o'clock. So those zeros for the minute, and it's 11 o'clock. So telling time to the hour when it is a fresh hour is not too tricky because the hour hand is pointed straight to the hour that it is, and the minute hand is on the 12, telling us 0 minutes. For the third one, straight up and down like this, the hour is pointing to the 6, and the minute hand is pointing to the 12. So it's 6 o'clock, so there's a 6 in my hour side, zeros in my minute side, and it is 6 o'clock. Okay, talking math, how is an analog clock similar to a number line? It's similar to a number line because it goes along and the numbers get bigger like they do on a number line, and it points to the number that it wants to use. Like if you had marked it on a number line, it would show that sort of number. So what I want you to do today, all I want you to worry about is telling time to the hour, worrying about where the hour hand is and making sure that that minute hand is pointing to the 12, looking at that, because that tells you what time it is. So you're going to do the same thing we did for 4, 5, and 6 on your own. Then for 7, 8, and 9, you're going to draw the hand. So let's go ahead and do 7 together so you can see how to do that. And then you can try the other ones on your own. So number 7 wants us to draw 5 o'clock. So my hour hand, the smaller hand, is going to point to the 5 because it's 5 o'clock. So do your best to make it really neat. Smaller hand. All right, and I apologize, it's a little bit messy on my computer, but the smaller hand is pointing to the 5 because it is 5 o'clock. Now, when it is fresh 5, new hour, there's no minutes, so 5 o'clock, it's not 5:10, 5:30, which we'll talk about later, it's just 5 o'clock. The minute hand is going to point to the 12. So you're going to point that long minute hand up to the 12. Okay, so the hour hand, the smaller hand is pointing to the 5. The minute hand, the longer hand is pointing to the 12. That shows 5 o'clock. And they also want you to show it on the digital clock, so it is 5 o'clock. Okay, it's a little trickier, but still not too bad. All right, then you have some brain builder ones. Okay, so they're going to make you think not only about what time it is, but what comes next. So you have to think about how it goes from, starts with that 12 and goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? So if it's 3 o'clock, it says Colin gets home at 3 o'clock, Evan gets home an hour later. What is an hour after 3? Go to that next one, right? And then you're going to draw the time that is your answer in a few different ways, okay? So same thing for homework. You're going to write it digitally and on that line as well, and then reverse, you're going to draw it on the analog clock. That's what they call, remember, analog clock, as well as digitally. And then this big section, okay, vocabulary check. Okay, so to review vocabulary, you have your hour hand. So remember, that's your smaller one. Your analog clock is this kind of clock with the face and the numbers all shown. The minute hand is that longer of the two hands, and then the digital clock is the one that shows the numbers, just the digits of the time. It doesn't have the hands, it doesn't have those kinds of things. Okay, so that is what you need to work on today, and we will keep working with time this whole chapter. Have a great rest of your day, friends.